Hello everyone. Today I'm back to share another story about the single mother, Diệu Hân. I hope you enjoy this video. The avocado season in the place where Diệu Hân lives is truly special. The whole mountain region seems to wear a lush green coat, dotted with golden brown spots of ripening avocados. Winds rise from the valley, carrying the earthy scent of soil mixed with the sweet fragrance of avocado sap. The hum of cicadas, the rustling of leaves, and the soft dripping of water from dew-laden branches all blend into a peaceful melody, one that soothes Hân's heart. Since early morning she has been up preparing. Her old conical hat, hanging by the wall, follows her once again into the garden. She picks up the bamboo basket her mother sent from home, the same one she has used through many fruit seasons, and ties the handle securely. Today, she plans to pick some avocados to send to her mother and relatives she hasn't visited in a long time. But the weather doesn't cooperate. Halfway there, the rain begins to fall. First a few light drops on her shoulders, then quickly turning into a downpour that blankets the mountain path. The sky turns gray, heavy clouds covering the peaks. The muddy trail becomes slippery. Her sandals are caked with dirt, yet she doesn't stop. Hân looks up at the sky, raindrops stinging her cheeks, but a faint smile still lingers on her lips. It's okay. The rain is just a small challenge. I've overcome worse. Step by steady step, she continues. When she finally reaches the orchard, the sight before her takes her breath away. Rows upon rows of avocado trees glistening with rainwater, their branches heavy with fruit swaying gently in the drizzle. Droplets roll down the avocado skins, catching the dim afternoon light, beautiful and serene. She begins picking. Her hands carefully choose the large, dark, slightly glossy fruits, the best kind, creamy and rich, her mother's favorite. Each time she plucks one, she places it gently in the basket and wipes it softly with her sleeve, as if cradling something precious. The rain keeps falling, soaking her hair and lashes, but she pays no mind. In that moment, standing amid the vast avocado grove, Hân feels cleansed. All her worries and fatigue seem to melt away. She misses her mother, the small kitchen back home, the scent of warm rice, the clatter of knives at dusk. She imagines her mother's smile upon receiving this basket. These avocados are from Hân. They must be delicious. Tears well in Hân's eyes, but they are tears of joy. By the time the basket is full, the rain has eased. Evening mist settles over the quiet valley. She dons her hat, hugs the heavy basket to her chest, and walks along the muddy trail. Her footprints mark the wet ground, blending with the soft sound of dripping rain. "Mother will be so happy," she whispers. "These avocados aren't just fruits. They carry my heart, reaching home from afar." Her small figure fades into the mist, leaving behind only her gentle smile and the heavy basket. Heavy with love, longing, and a whole season's worth of memories. The rain thickens again, the sky turning cold and gray. But Diệu Hân doesn't waver. Amid the endless green of the avocado trees, her silhouette, small yet steadfast, moves beneath the rain-soaked leaves. Raindrops stream down her face, salty on her lips, mingling with her breath. She looks up. Above her, the biggest avocados sway teasingly in the wind. She smiles, tired but determined. "I have to get those. Mother will love them." She pulls the bamboo ladder closer, but it's too slippery to climb. After several failed attempts, she ties up her hair, removes her hat, and decides to climb. Her hands grip the wet trunk, cold seeping into her palms. Each pull takes effort. Moss makes the bark slick. Wind lashes through the branches, shaking the tree. Her thin raincoat clings tightly to her body. Once her hand slips, she nearly falls. Her heart races. She clings tighter, breathing hard, eyes fixed upward. "Don't give up, just a little more," she murmurs, shivering yet resolute. Her roughened hands tremble, fingernails caked with dirt, rain running down her neck. Lightning flashes, a brief white glow across her determined face. Then a sudden crack, a branch snaps. Han freezes, heart pounding, body pressed against the trunk. The wind howls. She can barely breathe. Still she pushes forward. She whispers a prayer and reaches higher, fingertips brushing the nearest fruit. But her foot slips. A sharp crack echoes through the storm. Her body swings sideways. She gasps, clutching the upper branch so tightly her palms bleed. Dangling in midair, soaked and trembling, she kicks desperately, in vain. "Help! Somebody please!" she cries. Her voice is swallowed by thunder. No one hears. She holds on, arms burning, every muscle screaming in pain. Her strength ebbs away. Raindrops mix with tears as she whispers one last word. "Mom!" Her fingers loosen. She falls. A heavy thud breaks the silence. Her body hits the rain-soaked ground, splashing mud around the toppled basket. A few avocados roll away, still glistening under the gray sky. Han lies motionless, drenched and bruised, her breath faint. The rain keeps falling, relentless. The orchard stands still. Only the rain speaks like a quiet mourning. Above her, the avocados sway gently in the wind, silent witnesses to the sorrow of a fragile woman, lost amid the storm of the mountains. The heavy fall knocked Han unconscious the instant she hit the ground. A dull, dry thud echoed through the pounding rain. Then silence returned. The sky continued to pour, cold droplets drumming against her soaked hair. Her pale face motionless beneath the storm. Her small body lay still amid the vast, emerald-green avocado grove, surrounded by a roaring sky and weeping earth. Her conical hat had rolled away, face down in the mud, rainwater trickling down its brim and pooling beneath it. Beside her, the wicker basket lay overturned, avocados scattered across the wet soil, each fruit like a fallen memory, spilled across the fragile thread of her life. The wind swept through the grove, shaking the leaves so that droplets fell softly around her. Her hair was matted, clinging to her cheeks. Her lips had turned purple from the cold. Rain poured endlessly, splashing upon her body as if trying to wake her. But she didn't move, not even a twitch. No one knew what had happened. The valley was silent, filled only with the sound of wind howling through old trees and rain cascading from the heavens. In the distance, thunder rolled, tearing through the gray sky. Amid that vast wilderness, Han looked so small, so fragile, like a fallen leaf swept away in the storm of fate. Time seemed to stop. Rain fell harder, streams forming around her still body. Mud clung to her hands, her clothes. In a flash of lightning, her figure appeared stark and haunting, a picture both beautiful and unbearably sorrowful. From a far corner of the grove, a neighbor's little dog barked a few times at the strange noise, then fell silent. No one came. The rain was too heavy. Everyone stayed inside. No one knew that, just a few rows of trees away, a woman had fallen, while chasing a simple dream of filial love, to pick a few avocados to send home to her mother. A gust of wind rolled the wicker basket closer to her. One ripe avocado tumbled out, rolling gently until it came to rest beside her cold, still arm. The rain went on. The grove stayed silent. And Han, she remained there between earth and sky, like a drop of tenderness forgotten in the storm of destiny. As dusk approached, the rain eased. Gray clouds drifted apart, and faint sunlight slipped through the canopy, glimmering on puddles left by the long storm. The air smelled of wet soil and sap, the scent of mountains after rain. The orchard's owner, Mr. Tu, stepped out in a thin raincoat to inspect his trees, as he always did after a downpour, to check for broken branches or fallen fruit. Muttering to himself, he walked between the rows. Rain this heavy. I wonder if anyone will still come by avocados tomorrow. Passing an old tree, something unusual caught his eye beneath the leaves. At first he thought it was a plastic bag blown by the wind, but when he drew closer, his heart froze. A woman lay motionless in the mud. Her hair tangled, her clothes drenched, her face pale as paper. Beside her lay a toppled basket and avocados scattered like green stones in the dirt. "Oh my God! Hun!" he cried out. Then he remembered, she was the young woman who had asked to buy avocados just the day before. He had assumed she'd stay home because of the rain, never imagining she'd come alone, and fall like this. He dropped to his knees, shaking her shoulder. "Miss Han! Han, can you hear me? Wake up, child." No response. Her lips were pale, her lashes trembling faintly. He called again, louder, panic rising in his voice. "Han, why did you climb in the rain, foolish girl?" He pressed a hand to her forehead, ice cold. She must have been unconscious for some time, drenched to the bone. Fear surged in him. He tore off his raincoat, draped it over her, then bent down and lifted her onto his back. The muddy road out of the grove was treacherous. Each step sank deep into the wet earth, water splashing up to his knees, but he trudged on, breath ragged. "Hold on, child, we're almost there," he murmured, turning his head as though she might hear. Down that lonely dirt path, the sight of an old man carrying a limp young woman on his back was both heavy and moving, two silhouettes outlined against the dim post-rain sky. His footsteps blended with the faint rustle of the evening breeze, slow, strained, determined. In the distance came barking dogs, the murmur of voices near the roadside clinic. Mr. Tu quickened his pace, shouting hoarsely, "Doctor! Someone's fallen, please help!" The clinic door burst open. Nurses rushed out to help as he stumbled in, breathless, lowering Han onto the bed. She was picking avocados, climbed the tree in the rain. Fell hard, please save her. Han lay still, lips slightly parted, breathing faintly. Though the storm had passed, the chill lingered, wrapping the room in the fragile silence between life and loss. Inside the small hillside clinic, weak yellow light flickered through the window as evening settled in. A nurse hurried over as Mr. Tu carried her in. They laid her down, her clothes soaked, hair clinging to her skin, face ghostly pale. "Her pulse is weak. Get her dry and warm immediately," the nurse ordered sharply. Another nurse fetched towels and clean clothes, gently wiping her hair and limbs. Her body was icy to the touch, sending a shiver through everyone nearby. Moments later, the doctor arrived. Her heartbeat faint, temperature high, body trembling from hypothermia. "She's lucky, no major trauma, but severe cold exposure. She's burning up from fever. If we don't reduce it soon, she could seize." They worked quickly. An injection, a saline drip, a cold towel pressed to her forehead. In the quiet room, only the soft beeping of the heart monitor broke the silence, steady but fragile. Each beat brought a breath of relief. Outside, Mr. Tu sat slumped in a chair, still clutching the soaked conical hat and the muddy basket he had carried from the grove. A few dirt-smeared avocados rested on the table, mute witnesses to what had happened. About an hour later, Tan, the man who knew Han, burst through the clinic doors after hearing the news. He was breathless, his eyes wide with disbelief as he saw her lying there, still and pale, hair disheveled, lips cracked. "Oh God! Han!" he whispered, voice trembling. He rushed to her side, sat beside the bed, and took her hand, small, cold, fragile. That chilling touch made his chest tighten. Images flooded his mind. Her gentle smile, her quiet thank you, her strength through hardship. Now, only faint breaths and the rhythmic drip of the four remained. "Will she be all right? Will she wake up?" he asked hoarsely. The nurse looked at him and nodded softly. "Her fever's high, but the worst has passed. We're monitoring her closely. Don't worry, once the fever breaks, she'll wake up." Tan exhaled shakily, lowering his head, still holding her hand. Tears welled in his eyes. In the dim light, looking at her fragile form, his heart ached with tenderness and fear. After hours of four fluids and care, Han's temperature gradually dropped. The fever passed, her breathing steadied, and the bluish tinge faded from her lips. In the quiet room, with only the soft drip of the four in the background, Han stirred. Her lashes trembled, then slowly lifted. A gentle light from the bedside lamp spilled down, hazy through a thin mist of breath. Everything before her seemed to spin, the white ceiling, the antiseptic smell, and the chills still clinging to her body. She winced and let out a faint groan. Ton, who had sat by her side through the night, immediately stood. "Hun, you're awake? Can you hear me?" His voice was tight with worry. He leaned in and took her frail hand. Her skin was still cold, but her fingers squeezed back in reply. Han's eyes opened slowly, trying to recognize the familiar face in front of her. Ton, she whispered, her voice hoarse and weak. "Yes, it's me," he answered quickly, emotion shaking his words. "Are you hurting anywhere? Do you feel dizzy? Any sharp pain?" She gave a slight shake of her head, but a dull ache in her back made her frown. Her voice was barely a breath. "I'm just a bit tired and cold." At that, Ton drew the blanket up to her shoulders. His eyes were full of worry and tenderness. He sat back down, speaking softly, as if afraid that talking too much might wear her out again. "You don't have to say anything else. Just rest. I'll take care of the rest." Han looked at him, her gaze faint but warm. Her voice cracked to a thread. "The avocados. I didn't finish picking. Mother is waiting for me to send them." Ton smiled, clasping her hand a little tighter, and murmured by her ear, "I know. Don't worry. I'll go to the orchard in the morning and pick them for you. I'll choose the very best ones and send them to your mother. All you need to do is rest and get well." Hearing this, Han's eyes grew wet. A single tear rolled down her cheek and fell onto the hands clasped together. She tried to smile, her voice catching. "You're so kind to me." He shook his head gently and brushed a damp strand of hair from her forehead, his tone low and warm. "It's all right. You've borne enough hardship. Let me take care of you for a while." Outside the window, the rain had stopped. The first sunbeams filtered through the avocado leaves, glinting softly on Han's pale skin. The storm had passed, leaving only a quiet warmth between two people, one who had fallen in the grove, and one who had arrived in time to lift her from the rain of fate. The next morning, the sky was bright and clear after the long storm. Sunlight poured into the valley, gleaming on the rain-drenched orchard as if the leaves were coated in crystal. Birds chattered in the canopy, heralding a peaceful new day. Ton rose very early. He stood by the hospital window, gazing at the small yard where the dawn fog still hung thin. By the bed, Han slept on, breathing easier than the night before. Her forehead was cooler. A hint of color had returned to her face. He tucked the blanket up again, adjusted the four-line, and slipped out quietly, afraid to wake her. He carried the old bamboo basket, the same one Mr. Tu had brought in the day before. In the gentle morning light, Ton returned to the orchard where it had all happened. The dirt path was still wet. Yesterday's footprints were fading in the mud. When he reached the spot, he stood motionless for a long while. Before him was the avocado tree from which Han had fallen. One branch hung broken. A few fruits lay in the grass. Everything was still, save for the whisper of leaves in the breeze. He knelt and touched the soft earth where she had lain, and his chest tightened. "All this just to send a few avocados to your mother," he murmured, his voice rough. He looked up into the deep green canopy. Then, without another word, he rolled up his sleeves and carefully climbed the tree. Though not used to it, he patiently chose each fruit, the big, firm, dark ones. He picked them slowly and gently, as if each avocado were something precious Han had entrusted to him. Sweat gathered on his brow, and the sunlight made his hair gleam. When the basket was full, he sat with his back against the trunk and exhaled. He looked at the fruits, and a strange tide of feeling rose in him: tenderness, gratitude, sorrow. Images of the day before flickered through his mind. Han's drenched hair, her pallid face, her ice-cold hand. He could still hear her whisper, "I just wanted to send some avocados to my mother." He clenched his fist, then smiled faintly. Don't worry, Han. I'll help you do that. That afternoon, Tan took the basket to the post office. He wrapped each fruit carefully and wrote the address of her hometown. He stamped the parcel and sent it off, feeling a lightness he hadn't expected. When he returned to the clinic, Han was awake. She sat propped against the headboard. Seeing him, she asked softly, "Where did you go for so long?" He simply smiled and set the empty basket on the table. "I just mailed the avocados to your mother. All the kinds you like to pick." Han's eyes widened, then blurred with tears. Her voice trembled. "Thank you, truly thank you." He sat down beside her. Sunlight through the window warmed his gentle face. He smiled. "No need to thank me. Just get well. That's all I want." Outside, the avocado grove rustled in the wind again. The rain had passed, and the day grew bright. In their hearts, something warm, light as sunshine, steadfast as the earth, was quietly taking root.
Xin chào mọi người, rất vui được gặp lại mọi người trong video của mình. Chúc mọi người có một ngày mới vui vẻ. Hiện tại thì câu chuyện hôm nay mình mang đến cho mọi người về Diệu Hân. Diệu Hân đã gặp sự cố khi trong quá trình hái bơ, nhưng may mắn rằng cô đã được chủ vườn bơ phát hiện và đưa đi bệnh viện. Cô gái nhỏ bé nhưng đầy nghị lực luôn luôn vượt qua những khó khăn trong cuộc sống. Liệu rằng cuộc sống phía trước của Diệu Hân sẽ như thế nào và cô sẽ gặt hái được những thành công nào trong tương lai, thì mời mọi người đón xem ở những video tiếp theo nha. Cảm ơn mọi người đã xem hết video ngày hôm nay của mình. Hy vọng mọi người sẽ vẫn đồng hành và ủng hộ video của mình trong thời gian sắp tới. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại mọi người trong video lần sau nha.